Padma, welcome to our fun chat. Man, I'm so excited to get to hang out with you today. How are you? Congratulations on the new book and all the epicness has been. How are things?
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here with you, Eric. It's exciting. It's an exciting time. It's happening in the midst of the larger context, which is a very strange context to launch a book.
Yeah.
And it's still really amazing. It feels like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
I actually had no idea how it would feel, and it does feel really like a big deal.
Yeah. Well, it's for you, as this is in some ways, a large portion of life's work is manifested in the new book here. What pushed you that you needed to basically share these insights with others? Was there something that said, like, I have to make this thing happen? Because as you said, it's not a small accomplishment to sort of dedicate a year plus of your life to a book. So what was it?
Well, I just felt like something was bubbling up from inside of me. And I have been in this relationship with my partner for the past couple of years, and it's been amazing and it's been challenging. And I felt like, if this is challenging for me and a lot of other people that I know, what's really happening here?
Right.
And how can I serve? How can I help?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on and how can I help? And so it was really, it's a passion project.
Right.
It's a passion project. And I've certainly, I'm in my mid-50s, how I've had a lot of relationships in my life. And so this just feels like such a rich and juicy topic. And in my experience, it's one of the essential parts of being human.
Yeah.
Relationship.
And you clearly didn't know this when you started, the fact that we'd be entering into such challenging times, right? I mean, here we are, we're in lockdown. You had to avoid physical communication, all the connection, stuff like that. There was interesting, the Washingtonian put out a recent piece, I guess, an article about seeing this rise in divorce happening, despite the fact that challenges to get divorced is harder because the courts are closed, stuff like that. This number of people filing here because of this is putting frayed relationships on notice. What have you seen about what's happening in that COVID era in terms of relationships, and why are we seeing this kind of breaking point happening?
Well, I think there's just a tremendous amount of stress, number one. Number two, people are around each other so much more. Normally, people, one partner or both partners, they go to work. They come home, they see each other for a few hours and eat dinner and hang out and go to sleep, take care of the kids, whatever it is. So I feel like it's too much time. All the pressures we know about, it's losing, loss of work. It's all these things, and it's just tremendously trying. And I just want to say, for myself, it actually has been great to have my partner around so much, because he was gone 10 hours a day or maybe more, because he would get up and he would go surfing in the morning before work, and I wouldn't see him that much. And so I feel like it actually has given us a chance to go deeper. But it's clearly, it's very stressful. And, you have everything we know. You have the kids around, you just have no outlet, you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And you can't just go off and hang out with your friend, play tennis, do whatever you do to shake it out. So.
And you write about in the book, which I think was an interesting one, that there's this stigma against coaching or help or counseling and stuff like that. Why is there that stigma? Why are we as humans? I mean, we're happy getting all kinds of help from other things here. We get our lawn, we have a lawn person, we have someone who cleans our house, but yet we're so hesitant to invest in people to help us with our relationships. Why did you see that? And what was sort of your thoughts on how to change that mindset a little bit?
Well, I think you see it because we, especially here in the United States, we think, well, I should be able to do this myself. Right. I can handle it. And the second part is, people are ashamed. It's scary. It's very vulnerable to come forward for so many reasons. But one of them is you're actually admitting that you have an issue. Something's going on. Something's not right. And we need to come out. And what's going to happen when we step into the light of day, i.e. the office of a counselor, therapist, or whoever you choose to go to, so there's that. It's scary, there's shame, there's vulnerability, there's really maybe owning that the relationship isn't working anymore, or are we willing to do the work? Are we willing to do what it takes? So that's the first part. And for the second part, how can we change this? I think just to recognize that it's okay to just say, I'd rather step into an office or onto a Zoom call, or whatever it is right now, than lose my partner, than lose my sacred container, than lose my ship. You know, you're on a ship together, you're navigating the waters, and the waters are pretty rough right now. It's a very unstable moment in time. And so things are getting shaken up. And so when things get shaken up, it's a time for transformation. And so part of the transformation is what needs to transform internally in me, and then what needs to transform you, and what needs to shift in us, so that we realign. There's a fundamental realignment happening in our world at this moment.
And the book, I mean, has so much, it's really a nice, such a great blend of sort of stories and pragmatism and lessons. There's a lot in it here. So certainly, you know, I highly recommend get the book, but talk a little bit about, as people are starting to have that moment of like, something doesn't feel off. What are some of the things that you're telling people on that Zoom call or those conversations or through the book that like are those starting steps? Because I think that's the one thing I thought was so neat in the book too. It's like, it's not this like, you know, you have to go like, oh gosh, everything's broken, we gotta fix it. But there's small steps that people take. Tell a little bit about that.
That's a great question. And thank you. Appreciating the book. And it's a very practical book, really. And I'll just
say, gotta hold it up here. We're gonna see it here.
Yeah.
Being together.
The book, being together, practical.
I love this part, by the way, at the bottom here. It's like such a beautiful picture, that those hands in that kind of way. Like I could see reaching across. Anyway, it's a beautiful image. And beautiful cover.
Yeah, you know, and those are actually our hands.
Oh, are they really? Oh, cool.
They are. Yeah. And I mean, the truth is, like, so that's part of it. It's like you reach your hand across, you extend. And what is it to just say the right thing, say a kind thing? So part of a little thing you can do is, one of the main things, be kind. Be kind, be appreciative, look for what's working. Because especially now, there's so much pressure, and you handle that and I'll handle this, and back and forth. And we're looking at, oh no, you forgot to pick up this at the store. Instead, recognize what your partner is doing. Recognize that they're actually doing their best. You're doing your best, and be in appreciation. And definitely don't throw don't just toss the whole thing out the window at the first sign of trigger. And it's when you are in a moment of being triggered, pause. That's one of my favorite things, is pause. Say, and set this up in advance. Say, wow, I'm getting really triggered right now, and I'm unable to manage myself, so I'm going to pause. And you might have a code word. In the book, I talk about the code word Apple. So you say, Apple, it's set up. I love you. I'm triggered. I need a moment. I'll be back when I'm calm. That's what that means. So you can do things like that. They're such simple things, and they really help. And honestly, if you're on a phone call with somebody and you're getting agitated, just say, gotta go, and hang up. Really. Because better to hang up. Hanging up to me is the same thing as just excusing yourself and walking into the room. Oh, and one thing, do not have text arguments. Do not argue over text. Do not communicate important, meaningful things over text. For me, text is a logistical kind of medium.
You know, I think I will say though, so I'm a big fan of the, you know, this simple acts of kindness that you talk about in the book, these like small things you can do. I will say, I use text for those things too, because sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you walk away, hey, I just was, I really like what you did there. And I find it with my wife now, we try to like use those moments of like those small little things that we can just sort of say nice things at, because you're right. I think sometimes text can be very, very logistic, or very, very, you know, just the simple acts of it. Hey, I really appreciate that, or that was nice, whatever it was, can go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Texting, it texts your appreciations, little heart emojis, little videos of people celebrating. Great.
Yeah.
You know, any way to appreciate. And the other thing that is great is just respond to your partner. These are what John Gottman calls bids for attention. So respond to that. The littlest things. They just want your attention. which really comes back to be present. Show up with your heart. And if you can't be present, say that.
Yeah.
Say, I hear you need my attention. I want to be there with you. I'm really busy with this right now.
Right. Right. So how do you, so, I want to, one or two last questions here before I let you get back to things here. In this world that we're living in here, right? Like obviously in some of the other prior times, maybe some of these things were easier, but there are these challenges, I think, where we're in each other's space, we're, dealing with like logistics and school and all that sort of stuff here. What are some of the things that you've seen that couples that are thriving through this? When you talk about bringing your partner and you closer together, what are some of those things that you find that people do sort of to use this time to maybe thrive differently, to think differently? What is it that people can do to do differently together?
That's a super question. Well, I mean, I would say set aside time to tend to your partnership, to come together, whether it's taking a walk or a hike or, just private time. So really make private time, even though you're around each other so much, it's not what I would necessarily call quality time. So set aside quality time to be together, which goes whether we're in a pandemic or not in a pandemic.
Right.
I would say that stands. And one thing that we've been doing that's really helpful, because I feel like we've all had to and are continuing to have a need to adapt to this circumstance. And I'm in California right now, so I'm adapting to the smoke, and thankfully not in close proximity to the fires, but adapting to the smoke. So what's needed to navigate? So creating structures. And if you see something isn't working, really name that. Notice it and say, hey, can we revamp here? Can we reorganize? And what's needed? And have a structure. I mean, obviously we've had to have structures, and, just at the beginning of this call, we were chatting. And so, Eric's family has, sends the kids off to
exactly.
Camp Maryland to Grandma and Grandpa.
I love you, Steve and Julie. This would not be possible without you guys.
Thank you. That's really, having family around is such a blessing.
Yeah.
And so just getting organized, making structures. We had to do that in the beginning in our home, and luckily we have a fair amount of space. Everybody has an office space. So that's really, a privilege. And there were things, because my office is actually in the living room and there's no door.
Yeah.
It's a great room, but there's no door. There's amazing views of the hill, and there's no door. So I had to say, hey, to my partner and also to my daughter, please, if I'm working, it doesn't mean you can just come in and chat. It doesn't mean, please refrain from hanging out and kind of roughhousing with Buddy, our dog. Just respect that. And so having boundaries, having clear boundaries, having clear structures, maybe even having check-ins, right? Have a check-in once a week, say, how are we doing? And in that meeting, recognize what you're doing well. Be like, wow, we're doing so well with this, and this. Oh, this needs a little bit of tweaking. Right. So just really stay in communication is even more important than ever. Yeah. So
congratulations again on the book. I think it's terrific. And, I think, just being together, practical wisdom for loving yourself and your partner, which I think is important in this one. It's not just about, what can we fix there, which I think is a really big message. And so how do people, if they do want to get more time with you, they want sort of someone to sort of work through some of these things with, how do they get more time with Padma in their life? What are some of those things that they can get in touch with you at?
No, thank you for asking that, Eric. Well, you can certainly go to my website, that's padmagordon.com, and schedule a complimentary exploratory session. I'm working with people all over the world, either on Zoom or over the phone. And so you can check out that. I'm also going to be later in the fall, I'm going to be doing a course that's based on the book, an online course. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want to, stay in touch, please fill out the form and jump on my email list. Just reach out to me. There's contact information there, and I'm putting out lots of content. So you're welcome to that. And the book is available.
I always feel very like you write emails in a way that makes me feel like you're really talking directly to me. So also you're one of the best email writers around that I've ever had. It really does make you feel like you're getting even over the waves there. So
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, we try. Exactly.
I mean,
the truth is, it's in life. It's really in life, in partnership. It's about having heart-to-heart connection, authentic heart-to-heart connection. And as you mentioned, you know, it's about having this connection with yourself and then extending that out to others. So
well, congratulations again on the book. Amazing progress. You know, the reviews on it are off the charts, and I know you were Amazon had you as its new release. So congratulations on all that sort of stuff. Well deserved here. Padma Gordon, again, get the book wherever you want: Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Kobo, all those places. But the book, Being Together: A Practical Wisdom for Loving Yourself and Your Partner. Congratulations, and more journeys ahead here.
Totally. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And thanks for having this offering, because I could not have written this book. Book Creators Program.
It's a team effort, right? We need each other to make magic happen. So
absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for playing your part.
Absolutely.